A WWE superstar returned at a recent house show. Elsewhere, we saw a title change and a new gimmick debuting at the Great American Bash. And a top WWE star is missing tonight's Monday Night Raw. More on that later in the video. Hello everybody, Jack and Adam here with the wrestling news. There's been a big return at a recent house show, Adam. Come on.
Not that big, he's tiny. Johnny Gargano returning, taking on Omos in a losing effort over the weekend at a house show in Fort Myers, Florida. So you'd expect to see him back on Raw sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, especially with Ciampa back in action and rumours floating around of their potential involvement with each other once again. It's not that promising a start, coming back and losing to Omos immediately to house show.
Nobody saw it. I think it's all right, to be honest. Would you rather see, maybe these aren't mutually exclusive, but would you rather see the Way reform or a DIY return?
Maybe they are not mutually, because maybe he can, that's like his serious job, and then the Way's like, it's just a bit of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, people have speculated about Ciampa in the Way for a while as well. I'd be up for it. I really want to see DIY get back together because after the call-up, they both seem to sort of float around doing nothing of major substance. So putting them back together, I'd love to see them win the gold.
The gold, the tag team gold.
The goal,
yeah, I think so as well, and I think that it could happen because with Triple H at the creative helm, he loves. Well, he was behind NXT when it was all DIY centric, wasn't he? So,
yeah, I guess it depends on Owens' injury, doesn't it?
And the length of it and severity. Yeah. Well, this was Gargano's return from injury. He'd been out of action with a shoulder injury. His last match was apparently as a participant in the IC title #1 contendership battle royal on the 15th of May. So it's good to see him back.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is a losing start, but as you said, it was a house show. It's
no big deal.
Fine. I was going to go, speaking of house shows that no one saw, that's not true. That's not true because last night we had NXT's The Great American Bash, where there was various bits of news coming out of it, but there was a title change as well. Tony D and Stacks, why are you laughing?
I can't join in as much here because I don't watch NXT on a weekly basis.
Right, okay.
I've watched NXT when I've had to go in and do the podcast, so I was fairly unfamiliar with all this. When I was watching it, it was Tony D and Stacks that really caught my eye. I love them. I think they're class.
Hey, it's very. It's a trope we all know and love from elsewhere in pop culture, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just good fun. They're great fun together. They're way more fun than Gallus.
They are more fun than Gallus, unfortunately, which might be the reason behind this title change. It was a fairly long tag title run for Gallus, but
maybe the reason behind Shawn Michaels saying backstage, "Sorry, these two are more fun."
They're more fun. There was a story going into this, which I still can't quite work out what happened because Tony D was in jail for crimes, which we never learned what they were, but it was the whole story was like Stacks is going to Tony, someone's ratted you out, man. I can't really do it. And then they find out that it's implied that Gallus, or specifically Joe Coffey, has grassed him up to the police for crimes. And then Stacks went one-on-one with Joe, and if Stacks won, Tony would be released because Gallus would drop the charges. But if Stacks lost, then he'd be going away for a long time. But then Stacks won, and then they've now beaten them for the tag belts. So I don't understand why Gallus ever put that on the line. The ball was in their court. It doesn't quite make sense.
They could have just sent him away for good.
Right, yeah. And they're evil, so they would have done as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand what's happened.
Well, I'm glad they did because we got better tag team champions now.
More fun tag team champions. And better. Where did you get the little match recap from? Here, was this your idea?
Yeah. Go on.
To gain the upper hand, Tony D'Angelo forcefully sent Stacks flying out of the ring.
Flies tumbling all over the shop.
Taking down the members of Gallus. When they returned to the ring, D'Angelo and Stacks executed their signature bada bing finishing move, solidifying
their triumph.
It wasn't the only big result of the night, I guess.
No.
Well, we had a new. I'd take umbrage with this news story.
Go on.
Everyone's been going, oh, Baron Corbin's back with a new gimmick and a new look. And I couldn't recognize him. Was I him? It's bloody Baron Corbin.
You couldn't recognise him.
I'm joking. He looked exactly the same.
Right. He's got a new vest. He's got a new Tron of music.
He looked a bit shieldy. Yeah, what's that about? He did look a bit.
Yeah. He wears that vest from time to time, but he's spruced things up a little bit, and now he's trying to burn the ships.
That's the lyrics and I guess the title of his theme as well.
And it flashed up on the name slate, I think, as well.
And you had the voice of the theme man going burn the ship.
Yeah. Weird old result, this one.
A draw.
Count out.
Double count out, yeah, against Gable Steveson, who
Debut match.
Yeah, it's his debut in-ring match. WWE seemed, at least, I guess if they had really big plans for him still, this would have been a main roster feud though. Whereas the fact that he's now on NXT might have implied that something's gone wrong along the way, or that, I mean, whenever he, unfortunately for Gable Steveson, whenever he was introduced and they went, it's Gable Steveson, he looked really bored to be there. He was like, yep, here I am.
Which is weird because people talk about like, or management seems to think anyway, that he's super, super charismatic. And you do see glimpses of that from time to time.
He can be.
The fans pooed all over this.
Yeah, they weren't too keen on it.
Well, all over him anyway. They were massively, massively behind Baron Corbin.
It's a hard position to be in, isn't it? Because you're against the most established guy on the NXT roster at the minute. And I guess they couldn't do anything because Gable Stevenson's he's like an incredible amateur wrestler and he's won championships and all that sort of thing. But you can't do anything too complicated, can you? And he was doing the amateur wrestling stuff. He was taking Corbin down. He was throwing him round. But yeah, they didn't want to commit to giving him the win, which makes me think, and with this new burn the ships theme and everything, is Corbin getting a push then?
I hope so.
Because otherwise you would have just
see
lost.
A Baron Corbin push.
Yeah, I think so as well.
It's a weird old feud to start with. I guess you got to put him in there with somebody who's got loads and loads of experience, and Corbin's been there for ages now, hasn't he?
I guess
Safe
so.
Pair of hands.
Oh, totally. Like
the main event, by the way. Have you watched the main event?
I didn't get it.
It's
no, I haven't watched the main event.
Bonkers. Match of the year contender.
Hayes
so
and
good.
Dragunov, that was. Maybe I'll discuss it on the Matches of the Month podcast, which is coming out this weekend, I believe. But yeah, that was the new debut look and theme at last night's Great American Bash. Burn the ships. Before we move on, that's probably a reference to, like, recently there's been vignettes where he's been torching his old gimmicks.
Yeah.
Or symbols of his old gimmicks.
It's quite a cool visual. I don't quite get it. I thought, because I hadn't watched the video when I read this story initially, I thought it meant ships as in, I ship them. That's what I thought it was going. It's not. It's a literal pirate ship, Pirates of the Caribbean style.
Well, last week or the week before, he said Black Pearl. He said something along the lines of, you're now swimming in shark. I'm a shark. You're in shark-infested waters. So I was like, he's going to be a shark. But he's not quite, but the water theme is still there.
Yes.
And we like to see that.
Thank the Lord.
Yeah. A top WWE star is apparently missing tonight's Raw. This is according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, who noted that Drew McIntyre, who is set to challenge Gunther soon for the IC title at SummerSlam, will be missing tonight's Raw due to him filming a movie.
Oh, The Killer's Game, also starring rapper Ice Cube, as well as former WWE star Dave Bautista, aka Batista.
I read that wrong. I thought it said also starring rapper Ice Cube as Dave Batista. Ice Cube's playing Batista, and Drew's playing like Randy Orton. No, that sounds. I mean, I don't know what it's about or anything. The Killer's Game.
It's a game that a killer plays. Looks really. I don't know anything about it either. I think it's cool. I'm really happy for Drew that he's getting to do this sort of stuff because he's got such a presence, and I can imagine him being really good on the big screen.
What a look he's got.
Yeah. He's a beast, isn't he?
Yeah, they should.
Handsome.
Yeah, casting directors would love to have him, surely. Also, I just want to give props to Ice Cube because I find him really charming in everything he's in.
Yeah?
I think he's really good, in like 21 Jump Street and stuff. He's really funny. It. Oh, he's like the police chief. He's a grumpy old police chief.
Gotcha.
Yeah. One of the other characters like gets with his daughter by accident and then it's all that might be in the sequel. It's funnier than I've made it. And we have some details as well on AEW All In. According to Wrestling Observer Newsletter, sources have confirmed that Comcast, while not advertising yet, is scheduled to air All In on pay-per-view on August 27th from Wembley Stadium with a $50 price tag. It's a relief that we finally have heard something to do with this because
I don't get. Why did anyone think that this wasn't going to be on pay-per-view?
It's in Wembley Stadium,
right?
Yeah.
What, they've not got a sat truck?
No, I just mean like, of course it was going to be. Like, it's in Wembley Stadium, surely. But
their biggest show ever.
I think it was more maybe an echoing of general concerns that there's been no matches announced for it yet. They still got a little while to build up to the show, just under a month, I suppose. But yeah, it seemed like Tony might have, with Tony Khan, because there's so many things going on all the time. He might have just, I've got a sort of pay-per-view for the Wembley show. Another thing is that All Out comes not too long after All In as well.
Yeah.
People might have been thinking, although it was never going to be like a house show, was it?
No, I don't know. Part of me thinks it's like he wants to see how many tickets he can sell without announcing a single match.
And then
but
he can go,
I don't know,
I didn't even announce a single match. I've got a theory, by the way, about AEW at the minute. I've got a conspiracy theory. I think it's basically Punk in charge of Collision.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think he's got quite a lot to say. Because on Collision last week, twice they really shoehorned in how this match has just been booked now by Tony Khan. And they mention Tony Khan as if to be like, he's in charge of this show. Whereas I think it's CM Punk.
Well, if that's the case, I'm happy for him. He should be rewarded for his good behaviour.
No, is that far-fetched from me there? A little bit.
I don't know.
I think he's in like a Kevin Nash WCW position.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, he was doing creative backstage, wasn't he? For like when he was on Dynamite, he was helping out creatively. So maybe, yeah.
I think the other thing that made me think this was that he's promoting Collision all the time heavily on his Instagram, but that could just be because he's petty and he wants it to do better than Dynamite, which is so in character for CM Punk.
What do you reckon of the new
collider, Adam. I'm a collider.
Yeah. I find it more fun. I think it's a very different show to Dynamite, and I prefer Collision. It's not doing the numbers that it needs to, is it?
No, I'm waiting for it all to come falling down because it's got all the naughty boys on the show.
That's all the naughty boys.
What were you going to say there, sorry?
I was going to talk about the $50 price tag. Is that the going rate?
I don't know. It's
a lot of money, isn't it? $50.
Well, yeah, what does...
You get tickets cheaper than that.
Some tickets, yeah. Certainly.
Crap ones. There are no crap ones.
I can't even see who that is. It is set to be a huge show, though, regardless of what the card even is, just because it's a show in Wembley Stadium. First one since SummerSlam 92. It's going to be massive, but we'll have to wait and see whether more is revealed about that price tag, about matches that could be announced and all that moving forward.
It has the potential, apparently, to be the biggest gate outside of North Korea ever.
Wow.
Like the most people. I can't remember the exact number, so I think they were like teasing the potential. It was either 84 or 86k.
That's one of my favourite Dark Side of the Ring episodes, that one. The Collision career.
That's amazing.
Eric Bischoff. I went for a jog in the morning and people were looking at me a bit weird, and I came back, they went, you're not allowed to go for a jog in the morning. Eric Bischoff. Thanks very much for watching the news. We'll hopefully be back later on, although we're just going to wait and see if more stories come out, I guess. And hopefully we'll see you very soon. Check out everything on the channel and the comments down below. Leave your opinions. And see you very soon.